Reppin' the Blue Trunks and Dragon Phoenix Gaming, a teammate of Zest, who is in the finals. Give it up for Cure. And his opponent up here in the top for Good Game Gaming. He is Patience.
More pylons. Try for approximating.
All right, so the big thing about the TVP matchup is that it is very much reliant on that kind of early game aggression for both sides. The Terran player, he would love to get some damage done in the main base. He would love to kind of send these small little chunks of units all over the place and just kind of make that probe count smaller and smaller each time. Force your opponent to remake his economy rather than be on your side of the map. For the Protoss player, they do have a little bit more room. You know, if he does go for something, say, a Stalker Rush or an early Adept timing, it can be a little bit difficult to hold and throw your opponent very off guard. But they also have that ability to kind of just sit back just a little bit in order to kind of build up that big, scary late game army. Hi, Zerg Troll. How you doing, my man? Really good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Taking a look at the shape up right now. Patience just going to play it very, very safe here. Getting that shield battery, it can be considered a commitment, but it's just pretty good to make sure that you don't take any damage to this early Reaper. And in the case of a Hellion build and such, you know, it just makes it that much harder to get that damage in. But before it's finished, one probe will go down, and Cure gets the scout of the Stargate. Might get a second probe there. Patience a little bit not tilted just yet, but that can be a little bit annoying to deal with, as the Reaper is going to be able to get out of there alive to live another day. Now, Cure as well. He's going for the 3 racks. Versus Stargate, this is a Terran dream. For the sole reason that the Stargate, it's a little bit slow to build up. You will have enough Marines to defend against the Oracle, even if there's 2 or 3. And when you decide to move out on the map with Stim, with a big smattering of those Marines, yeah, your opponent is not really going to have a high enough unit count. He's going to have to be forced into that defensive position with so many shield batteries, with so many deaths. And yeah, I'm sure Cure is just waiting to get that timing here. Patience doesn't know that this is 3 racks just yet. This Oracle is going to be his first confirmation of it. Gonna get one SCV there. Trying to just force these Marines around. But no real dice for the Oracle. And now it's Cure's turn. He's gonna move out on the map. And like I said, there's really not a lot for Patience to defend with. Yeah, he has 1 sentry. Do you know how many force fields it takes to get rid of that ramp? About maybe 2 to 3. Oh my god, though. If Cure walks into this, Cure, I swear. I think I would just tell him to uninstall StarCraft after game 1 if he would have walked into that stasis trap. But I do like this. He's being very smart, making sure that he doesn't overextend. with these Marines. He's gonna go back home to defend these couple of oracles coming his way and kind of just build up a little bit more while he gets his starport up. While he kind of gets that healing energy in so that the stim is not as bad for his health. The problem with it is, yeah, he's got to build the Stargate now. He's behind on that tech. And that just gives Patience this opportunity to go up to the Twilight Council, to drop down those additional gateways. And while he doesn't have map control, while he's still going to have to contend with Cure moving around the map, rotating into these positions, you know, he's going to be feeling pretty good about it since Cure is pretty much all in at this point. As I say that, he drops down the third. Never mind, ignore me. Oh, that was a scan and a half. Gets the stasis trap first, big stim in, gets the shield battery for free. There's not enough force fields to deal with that, but Cure gonna back off anyway. It is double the army supply for Cure right now, 53 to 29. And Cure still just kind of regrouping his army, gonna be adding in the Widow Mines. Is there charge? No. I feel like that's a little bit slower for Patience here. Just not getting that upgrade when the Twilight Council finishes means that he's not going to have the best units to contend with this. Cure is up an upgrade right now as well as getting that armor much faster than Patience, who is only on one forge. The Oracles, though, are getting a little bit of damage done. You love to see it. About 5 kills on one of them. Scan going to go down, revealing where the Stalkers are as well. So he's just going to go straight for the main base, and that is going to be the catalyst for him to come right in. The force fields kind of zoning the army into his mineral line there. The shield battery overcharge has been popped, but he did get deflected in the main base. I think, though, Patience, a lot of his army isn't together anymore. So he's going to have to pull that together. If Cure decides to go for a Doom Drop, to go for something like this, oh my goodness, this has the potential to do a lot, but so many Stalkers. So many deaths. A little bit of a risky move there. That might have cost Cure the position. He's still going to look to loot a little bit here, trade out as efficiently as possible. If he can get rid of some of those Immortals, that would be great. But as the Colossus comes in, he's going to have to retreat. But not for very long, as the second wave going to go straight for the natural. Zealots, again, don't have charge available to him. So they're going to take a pretty big Widowmine shot. And even though Cure gets deflected, this 1-2 punch rotating around is forcing Patience into kind of an iffy position. He's just got to hold back and defend. So he just says, you know what? Instead of defending, I'm going to attack instead. So now, yeah, getting the Ghost Academy is the next logical move here, as Patience will be going up, I'd assume soon, into that Templar Archives. He's even getting a Dark Shrine just for a little bit of extra harassment damage. And while Cure does have the lead in terms of those upgrades, in terms of that army supply, now that Patience has built up quite a bit, now that he has Colossus in both locations, it becomes a little bit easier for him to defend these double prongs. But hold that thought, as it's pretty much pure Stalker right there versus Marauders. Getting a pretty good fight right there. The Colossus doing what it can in the backfield. Some good AoE on these units. You can kind of see the health going down. The Medevac's not able to heal them up fast enough, but he will still be able to keep Patience off a 5th base as he gets a 4th of his own. The Ghost coming in. EMP upgrade going to be dropping. Extra barracks for extra production. And Patience, you know, he still doesn't have that Templar Archives. He doesn't have Archons. He doesn't have any additional splash other than those Colossus in the backfield, which, by the way, he is investing very heavily into. How many does he have? 3 so far, going up to 5. Not even paying attention there, losing quite a few Stalkers to the Marauders. The Widowmine's doing a good job of zoning out what little Zealots there are. And I have to agree with you, Raider. This is definitely feeling like Patience is just one step behind Cure right now. You know what? I don't even think they need like a hidden splash damage unit. I think what they need is Dark Archon. It's not balanced, just like that Marauder is knocking out the balance on that Colossus system. Another cancel on the 5th base. But back to my point, Dark Archon would be hilarious to see. It would be completely broken. But if you guys remember Brood War, it'd be funny. Now, we do see that transition into the Disruptors. Coming on in, which will be good to kind of deal with Cure's army. You can kind of see, now that he has a good ghost count, he's really just focusing on getting more Marauders to tank in the front. But, yeah, he does have those EMPs ready to blast on forward as the Zealots pushing it back. Good EMPs over a lot of this army. While the Disruptors pushing it back on the left side. This is multitasking to its fullest. We take a look at that APM tab. Over 500 actions per minute. So these guys are taxed to their limits. Patience has won the fight on the right side. He is pushing Cure back all the way. But he is starting to get cleaned up. Once again, near that 5th base. That is definitely going to be a cancel. And now Patience rotating around, looking for that 4th. Down there in the bottom position, he will be able to find it. But now Cure has rebuilt his defensive force. And Patience... Oh, never mind. I was about to say he had the potential to get sandwiched there. But instead, he just cleans up the army on the other side. And that is going to prompt Cure to go for a very big attack. Okay, mute. It is my GG is called. Cure takes the game, and I guess my point will not go through. But getting back into this game, we do see pretty normal starts for both sides. I think Cure does like to get that early information. We have seen a lot of Terran players kind of just decide not to go for that early Reaper anymore, just because it doesn't really get a ton in the mid game. But you know, I guess it just comes down to your personal choice. As we do see once again, he's going to be going for the 3 racks, so choosing the aggressive route. If Patience gets wind of this, if Patience sees everything, then he's going to be feeling pretty good about this choice. The Twilight Council is almost a hard counter to this build because Splink Stalkers shred the Marines. And yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be here. So keep an eye out for how many gateways he drops down. So far, 2 is the magic number. Stalker, what did you learn in Stalker School? Come out at the rally point. You know what? This is why you don't put the DT in before he's gone to basic directional school. That might not seem like the biggest of deals, but that can actually damage him quite a lot, as Cure is going to be moving out with these Marines. So that is one less Stalker to help defend. But yeah, getting back to my point, yeah, 3 gateways. It allows you to transition. It allows you to get up that robo facility. Maybe go just spec quickly into Colossi, and you don't. I'm just gonna stop trying to analyze this game, because what is up with game number 2 tonight? And worker rushes. Oh my god. These guys are gonna make me pull my hair out. I thought I understood this game. But a couple of these SCVs are going to go down very quickly as they caught on the wrong side of the force field. The force fields aren't even really the best here. And Cure is just pushing his way through. As those energy runs out, it is just pure carnage here. The stims starting to make his workers a little bit weary of battle. But the shield battery is not in range of these Stalkers, so he's going to go straight for the main base. And overall, the question is, did he do enough there? Because while he got 14 workers, he gutted his own economy to do so. Remember, he does not have a third base at all. And now this opens up the possibility for Patience to do a counterattack, but circumventing that, Cure is going to go for a couple of quick kills, trading out some of these Marauders. That does not seem like the best idea. Yeah, he doesn't really have a lot at home. Just barely holding on to that army supply lead, 15 to 18, as these Stalkers making their way across the map. And now with Patience having that third base, Cure is scrambling to kind of do that. I think he's... yeah, he just tried to kill the Observer, which means these Stalkers do have to fight into the natural. that is a little bit of a saving grace, as there is a very high Marauder count. The SCV's not repairing the bunker, but Patience not wanting to overextend either. This game is not over yet, guys. That SCV may be dead, but he lives on in our hearts. Mainly as the dumb SCV who tried to take on a whole mineral line of probes, but you know what? Even dumb people can live on in your hearts. Otherwise, a breakup wouldn't hurt as bad. Now the Marauders are moving out. Does he... Yeah, still no medevac support, so every time he stims, these Marauders just get weaker and weaker. What happened to the Stalker? He blinked out. So yeah, Kira's kind of just trying to give himself a little bit of map presence here, kind of force those Stalkers to stay out and catch him off guard so that they're not doing damage in his natural as he's trying to establish his own third base. Again, a very late third base. But yeah, I mean, this game has stabilized. As now the medevacs are going to be healing up these guys. He will have 4 of them, so he can start doing a little bit of drop while Patience is kind of teching up a little bit. Fun fact, 7 gateways is not enough versus 5 racks. I may sound crazy saying that, but it just comes down to the fact that now on 3 bases, Cure is in War Machine mode. He's got these double prongs here. Patience doesn't really have a big enough army to defend both sides. He's not out of the woods just yet, as there are 2 Colossus down here at the 3rd base. But he just doesn't have anything in main base. The Stalkers are so far out of position. He's trying to warp them in, and he will do so in time. But now Cure is just going to be all over the place looking for that damage. Ooh, medevacs, boost. That's a little bit of a mistake. Blinking into a Widowmine, so he's going to take a little bit more damage. He will trade out some of these Stalkers, but he will be able to get rid of some of those Marines. Even going to get a recall, I guess, to the main base just to make sure he's not out of position. But taking a look at it as well, Cure has the upgrade lead. Patience is going to be focusing on the attack upgrades. Plenty of mules are stabilizing his economy. And yeah, the problem for him, though, no tech. Let's take a look at that income advantage. You can kind of see where the mules start to drop. And funnily enough, you know, Patience with that really silly Nexus positioning there in the bottom left does mean that Cure will be up a base as he transitions into Ghost Tech. The Colossus way out of position, so both of them will go down. And as you guys know, Gateway cannot fight this amount of Marauders. As I just wake up my entire household, this fight is epic so far. Cure hitting in multiple locations, and even though he is getting pushed back on one side, he is going to commit this army and get the kill. No more Colossus. The Marauders coming in the backfield to clean up what's left. One more Colossus will fall. And even though he trades out this army, I would say that was definitely worth it. Because now, Cure, since he has so much economy, he is just pumping out units. He is double the army supply right now. He is getting ghosts for those EMPs. What does Cure have? He's got +1 upgrades. He's got charge. He has 1 Colossus, and he is desperately trying to re-get out that tech rather than getting Archons, rather than getting a Templar Archive. He's going to go for a little bit of a counter push here. It looks like he wants to do something. Anything to slow Cure down. I just don't know if he can, because there is still a big army back at home. Ends that warp in. Crushes through the mineral line. You do want to keep the medevacs alive so you can retreat. He will get out of there. Loses a full one, though. This game is insane. We are at the 13-minute mark. And we are at only 150 to 120 supply. Patience. He has let his guard down once again. Going straight in. A couple of DTs. Instantly getting scanned. So Cure just needs to scan again. But 8 more workers going down. Not going in with those ones. I gotta say, I'm okay with that. He's done enough for the meantime. He's pulling Patience around. And while he is kind of holding on, he's doing a decent job of it. He is down 20 workers. He is... This game is not over, like I said. But Cure is just building up every single advantage that he needs. Patience has been stuck on 3 bases for so long. Just some random Widow Mines here. Feeling a little bit like Dream. Trying to make that work. Oh man, even these DTs going in for damage aren't going to find even a Marine. Medevacs just a little bit too good as we see Cure going for +3. No additional upgrades coming in for Patience. Disruptor does get a decent hit, gets rid of some of those medevacs. But you're going to have to rely on much better hits here. You're going to have to rely on Cure jumping up that ramp. And I don't think Cure is the kind of impatient player to do that. I don't think he's going to take a bad engagement. I think he just wants to pull Patience's army around. Look at this. Just... Ah! Now we see it once again. Patience's whole army is up here to defend, trying to take that 4th base as Cure going for a big attack. Both disruptor shots are done. There are so many ghosts available with this. Trying to buy himself a little bit of time for 1 or 2 more warp-ins. Oh my god. Patience is playing 2 steps behind. But Cure is still finding ways to play a little bit of baseball here, throwing away so many units. In the end, is it going to matter? Because he's trading out everywhere else relatively efficiently. Losing the Colossus is a big deal because it looks like Patience can't even really afford to replace them. He has a big bank, but no time. And, I mean, the production tab tells the whole story right now. That just told an even worse story. Like, don't pick up all your units in front of a bunch of stalkers. Now, Patience finally getting up to the 4th base in the top right, but guess what? Cure is on 6 bases. Patience is going to have to get about 10 to 11 more amazing disruptor shots. He's sending a couple of more forward. Cure not paying attention will lose that army, but he's already got 2 more on the way. Recall being used up here in the top. That is going to be the big point of contention for Patience. He cannot afford to lose that. But Cure just saying, you know what? You want to fight around there? I don't care. I'm going to fight everywhere but there. $11 more workers going down. He's down to half the workers' supply. And even though Cure is taking some pretty big hits, I think this is kind of death by 1,000 cuts at this point. You know, Patience hovering around 100 supply. He was doing so well with his disruptors. Oh, yeah. So, like I was saying, Patience really going to have to pull out all the stops in this game. I think at this point, you just pull out the best cheese that you got. You know, don't settle for that American processed garbage. You pull out the Gouda. You pull out the Parmigiano Reggiano or the Pecorino Romano. I don't know why I'm making so many food references tonight, but you gotta pull out the best thing that you got in your cupboard because the judges are hungry. Now we do see Cure. He gets the Reaper once again, and he is scouting like a madman. That's a Marine, never mind. But he gets the Marine scouting like a madman just to make sure that there isn't any sort of aggression out on his side of the map. And, you know, judging on the positioning of that factory, we've got 2 big options. Hellions into Widowmine armory pressure, or he's just going to kill him with Hellions themselves. Either's good. And indeed, it's going to be the proxy Stargate down there in the bottom right. So it will be the Hellion drop. Patience desperately looking for it, but this is very well hidden. I don't think Patience is going to find this. No, the bird. Like, I don't even think Gordon Ramsay cheese is going to be good because I saw that man try to make a grilled cheese and it was awful. Luckily, though, this is not a grilled cheese sandwich. This is instead a StarCraft 2 game, and Patience does find the 200 IQ Scout. Kills off the Stargate, which is going to slow down Cure immensely, and Cure just decides to heck with it. I'm going to throw down an extra Rax. I'm going to try and kill you with some very committed pressure. The Hellions as well, just doing a really good job of scouting the map out. They did make it in, but I don't think they killed any probes. Kind of taking a look at that. Yeah, only the Zealot passed away. But now Cure has full presence on the map. Patience relying very heavily on this Phoenix to see what's up. And while he does get the scout, he sees the stim. He sees the extra racks being thrown in. He sees the fact that the starport is very late. That is pretty much the point where you're ringing the alarm bells, getting ready for whatever is about to come. As we have the Forge coming down, the Twilight Council very, very late. But hey, at least these Oracles find a pretty undefended main base. That was simultaneously a good hit and the worst hit that could ever happen to him in the history of Widowmine hits. As 10 workers going down because they got so weakened up, Patience taking very good advantage of the situation as delayed any sort of push that's going to be coming across, as Cure down to only 9 Marines with this army. You know what? I think baseball is getting pretty big in Korea because these guys definitely do know how to throw pretty well. I think they should consider a career change. Good little bit of damage. A couple of probes going down. Not really worth all of these Marines live, but they do get a sentry as well. This third base a bit late for Patience, so not really going to be able to take advantage of the time he did. The Widowmines, though, getting cleaned up. Just a little bit too slow on the draw there, Cure. No, TY. This was more of a go for a 3 racks because I can kind of deal after the factory was down. So kind of just a change up on his build there. But we do see, you know, he's going to get his third down very, very late. I think the biggest problem with that is just the fact that he hasn't been out on the map. His couple of attacks got deflected really well, so Patience kind of putting himself way back into it. The Adept Glaives is an interesting choice, though. I feel like at this point in the game, Zealots would be a better choice, even though Cure has been building up a decent Widowmine count. He has been throwing it away with these drops just as quickly. But in terms of the upgrades, though, equal across the board. Patience is just a little bit quicker there. A good Revelation going to make sure that he has full presence on this army as well. So these Stalkers going to go out for a little bit of a walk. All right, Marmor, I'll hold your beer. Just come on in. Depends on which side you want to tag in for. But you know what? We do get these replays out on the Matcherino page. I think we do let them out that way. So if you want to like take command, see if you could do better, that would be pretty epic. But Patience getting those +2s in. Cure, his army isn't bad, but he is focusing heavily on the Marine Marauder. And that can be a bit of a problem because a lot of the time Terrans can get this little bit of a one-track mind. Where, you know, we see it with Byun, we see it sometimes with Maru. Innovation has been caught up by it as well. Where they try and just kick in the Protoss players' teeth. But they don't get the transition after that. You know, there's not really Ghost. There's not really anything in the sky, no support. So you kind of just get stuck in the, I need to kill him now. And it doesn't go well. Right now, finding a good position behind the 4th mineral line. He did get the cancel on that. And is also going to slow down any stalker production. Honestly, at this point, you do want to be making zealots instead. Since he's got a good stalker count. But now the adepts coming in and getting a little bit of work done. 6 workers going down there. Probe getting deflected as well. So still no 4th base for you. Nice play there. Using the stalker to get that splash damage in. That is actually a 2000 IQ play. Now Cure. He's got the Ghost Academy in, but he wants to get something done before that comes into it. 2 humongous armies on both sides. How many Colossus are there? He has 4. So he can kind of have those in both locations. Gonna get rid of that Observer as well in case he decides to go for a Doom Drop. But he will get deflected. One good Widowmine shot cleans up one of the Stalkers. And, yeah, he's not even gonna bother trying to go in there. If you trade out too inefficiently, that's GG. Now, you see, I kind of dig the full ground army sometimes. But this time, Patience has a much quicker transition into those disruptors. So, having a couple of Liberators here and there would do wonders for his self-esteem. And make it a little bit easier for him to engage into Patience's army. Oh, but Cure finds the finished Nexus. There will not be a cancel right there, and that is just going to prompt Patience to say, you know what? To heck with this. Let's end this game now. And Patience now is pretty heavily supply blocked. You're not paying attention. Takes a couple of huge disruptor shots, and we are in what's known as a base race situation. Cure coming in from both locations. Patience does have a recall available, so Cure should be focus firing down those Nexi, and I think he is doing just that. There is a small token force to hold on to help defend. And so that is going to mitigate some of that damage in the main base. The first Viking of the series coming in, but Patience is so heavily supply blocked. Cure, what are you doing? You're not going to get that planetary up in time, but I really applaud the effort. Now, Patience with a huge bank as well. He has a ton of probes out on the map, so that is going to help out, but the SCVs are almost all gone. 26 to 22. Cure bringing himself to the main base as the probes escape. Yeah, Cure just needs to focus those down. He's, he did finish the planetary. Okay, that was a bit of a waste there. But Patience has taken the supply lead. He still has a ton of Colossi in his ballpark. A lot of AoE, a lot of splash. He does have that next Nexus up. Cure's not going to be able to remake that anytime soon. I think Patience can just really kind of just sit back and relax, because now it's the opus of Cure to make something happen. He's going to have to focus fire it down, and there's just a little bit too much Protoss to make that happen. Yeah, even going to send the SCVs to their doom right there. His last CC is gone. What buildings does he have left? 1 Rax, 3 supply depots, and a dream. Coming to theaters near you. 1 Terran player's desperate attempt to win the game falls a little bit short. GG. And now the big question is, does he kind of continue on with that forward momentum? A best of 5, I feel, is kind of that big middle ground between the series length. It's not a best of 3, so you don't instantly go up to match point, but you still don't really have a lot of room to breathe. You know, you got to be thinking at all times, what is my opponent going to do? What kind of map am I playing on? And the big answer to that, you're on a very large macro map. You are on a map where it's going to be difficult for Cure to get away with those things that he was doing early on. The 3 racks, the rallies across, the multi-prong where he was just walking across. So using that to your advantage a little bit, I would say that Patience will have the ability to tech up quite well for himself. And that being said, he is building Stalkers. So maybe he does want to be aggressive here. And indeed, that first Stalker is going to go onto a little foray on the other side as Cure going to be building that Hellion up. We do have the Robo facility coming on in as the Reaper, looking for a couple of pokes. He's already gotten 1 kill, the second to follow, and maybe even a third. But unfortunately, he did get citizen's arrest by RoboCop. You know, because they're robots. He didn't lose any of the Stalkers, did he? Okay, no he hasn't. This is still the first Stalker. Getting a couple of decent pickoffs, just kind of trading out some of those shields for it before its comrade joins in the fight. 2 more gateways are being added on, but we still don't see a Twilight Council. Now, if Patience wants to go all in with this, he's going to have to drop an additional gateway pretty soon. The fact that the Twilight Council is so late, I don't want to think it's DTs, but the fact that he only has 3 gates and is getting that Warp Prism kind of tells me that he might want to follow up this Stalker pressure with that. Kind of just like a 1-2 Book of Protoss cheese nanniganry. Oh, but I'm loving this. Adding on the Adepts just adds in a whole new level of complexity here for Cure to deal with. Even gonna add on the Sentry, which means he can force field the main ramp if he so chooses. Already the SCVs being pulled off the line. They are not mining. But the Widow Mine is going to save Cure a lot of that headache. Beautiful. What's going on the other side of the map? It looks like a small drop made its way in, and 9 probes did go down during all of that. This Hellion still knocking on the door. But you know what? This is like a very exclusive club, and even though the Hellion's mixtape was fire, this is an underwater map. So unless you're going for SpongeBob's thematic, yeah, it's not gonna...